2016 has been one wild ride for the entire world, let alone the world of professional wrestling and WWE. But of course, we end things on RoadBlock End of the Line, the last pay-per-view and the last Raw exclusive pay-per-view of the calendar year. Hello, everybody. My name is Conor, aka OKayFabe, your official SmackDown video correspondent for One Wrestling Video and OneWrestling.com. But we're here covering, of course, RoadBlock End of the Line, the WWE Raw exclusive pay-per-view for 2016, right here on One Wrestling and One Wrestling Video, your official 2016 RoadBlock End of the Line review and results show. Now, this entire video might be a little short. It may be on the shorter side because obviously there weren't as many matches. Most of it was taken up by the Iron Man match, which we're going to get into in just a moment. But of course, I want to take this time to once again thank you guys for tuning in and listening to us wherever it may be. Make sure if you guys are new to the One Wrestling Video YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button and tell us your thoughts about RoadBlock End of the Line down in the comments section below, or hit us up on the various social media. All our links for in all of our social media are, of course, also down in the description box below. Now, RoadBlock End of the Line 2016, a lot of craziness, a lot of hype, a lot of intensity, and a lot of surprises also in the entire pay-per-view. Of course, as I was mentioning numerous times before, this was the last pay-per-view of the entire calendar year and also the last Raw exclusive pay-per-view for the calendar year as well, too. 7 matches highlighted this entire pay-per-view, kicking off between Rusev and Big Cass at the kickoff show. Of course, the entire hype around this was that the trickery with Enzo Amore and Lana. Of course, the finish was actually something rather intriguing. Basically, a chase around and a brawl around between Big Cass and Rusev throughout the entire arena, emptied out into the stands. Man, imagine paying money for a ticket and getting almost taking home Rusev. It could be its own reward in some ways. I'll let you figure that part out. In any case, Rusev and Big Cass battling out, of course, Lana and Enzo getting distracted outside where Enzo gets taken out by Rusev, allowing Rusev to run back in the ring to answer the 10 count before, unfortunately, Enzo's partner, Big Cass, was unable to do so. Therefore, of course, your winner via countout is Rusev. I think this was actually, honestly, a very smart way to book this. I think that after seeing this finish, we will probably see a continuation of these two feuding heading into the future. I think that they could probably definitely go on a long way with this, especially with given this finish. Makes Rusev and Big Cass both look strong and still gives an opportunity to continue the rivalry down the road. It's very interesting the fact that having Rusev, who is obviously a very established single star, going up against a tag team in essence. I mean, granted, obviously Rusev was going only up against Big Cass, but with Enzo kind of playing almost a second-tier role. We don't usually see this, so it's going to create some interesting dynamics going in the future, but I could definitely see them carrying this until at least the Royal Rumble. I'm going to throw a bold prediction at you guys. Methinks Enzo is going to eliminate Rusev in this year's Royal Rumble. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Again, over on Twitter at OKayFabe. Now for the main card, one of the first big surprises, one amazing match that kicked off the entire pay-per-view was, of course, the WWE Tag Team Championship match. New Day defends against Sheamus and Cesaro. And this was a fantastic match. This was a match that you needed to kick off the pay-per-view. This had, while I don't think it matched up in comparison to some of the other times we've seen these two teams fight, it was definitely a great way to kick off the pay-per-view. A lot of intensity, a lot of action, a lot of great near falls, role reversals, all this craziness between New Day, Sheamus, and Cesaro. I honestly think anytime you put these two teams together, you're going to get gold. Unfortunately for New Day, their run has come at an end. I could be mistaking this. Feel free to please let me know if this is correct in the comments. I believe the announcer said 483 days. Officially, New Day has held the WWE Tag Team Championships, but unfortunately, that is no more. Sheamus and Cesaro capture the WWE Tag Team titles. The first time the two have actually won the championships with their own respective partners. Sheamus, of course, a former tag team champion, as is Cesaro. Excuse me. But man, like I said, I cannot stress this enough. Fantastic way to kick off the pay-per-view. Great action, great intensity, and I hope we get one more amazing matchup between these two teams in the future. The 10-minute time limit match between Sami Zayn and Big Bad Braun Strowman, the walking scream himself. This match was fantastic in terms of a great story. Now, for those of you who missed it, it was basically a lot of Strowman dominating over Sami Zayn until he was getting tossed out to the ring, which Mick Foley, yes, the general manager Mick Foley himself, came to ringside with a white towel, presumably to throw in the towel to make sure Sami Zayn possibly stays safe. As Sami Zayn crawls to Mick Foley, he grabs the towel and throws it, saying he wants to finish the matchup. Strowman, of course, continues attack outside on Sami Zayn, but misses and ends up barreling through a barricade, allowing Sami Zayn to crawl back in the ring, hit a haluva kick, and be able to survive the 10 minutes. No pinfalls or submissions or anything was that. The 10-minute time limit was reached. But due to the fact that Strowman was unable to defeat Sami Zayn, the victory actually goes to Sami Zayn. At first, I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't think the 10-minute time limit was enticing. You don't really see or hear time limit matches nowadays. I mean, obviously with some exceptions, but I think that the way they perfectly, honestly, this is probably one of the best built things I think they did for the entire show, was something simple. Strowman's a beast. Sami Zayn wants his chance to prove him against him, and he wants to be able to go toe-to-toe with said beast. He wants that opportunity. They did a great job of hyping it and wanting it, and even almost doing a fake trade to SmackDown. Darn, we almost got Sami Zayn. And just building such great emotion and intensity from both men and just creating a story that's very simple and very easy to understand. The action was great. I give credit to both Strowman, Sami Zayn, and Mick Foley for just creating a great story, but I don't think this is the end of it. I think Sami Zayn getting a victory in surviving Braun Strowman is not the end of this rivalry. I think it will continue on a little further. Where it's going to go, I don't know, but I want to know what you guys think, of course, down in those comment sections over on Twitter as well, too, and also over at onewrestling.com. Co-main event, Seth Rollins against Chris Jericho, two greats. I think this was one of those matches that was almost a dream match in a lot of ways. I don't think we've seen Chris Jericho against Seth Rollins one-on-one to the best of my knowledge. But it was a very solid, great matchup between these two guys. Jericho and Rollins really are very similar in their styles, and it showed in this matchup. A lot of back and forth, crazy, high spots, as well as just crazy technical ability as well, too. It's a great blending when you see two very similar styles come together, both men lightweight on their feet, but at the same time also heavy hitting when it comes to their actions. Of course, Kevin Owens rears his head once again this matchup, trying to interfere on behalf of Chris Jericho, but ultimately, again, costing Chris Jericho the matchup as Seth Rollins delivers a pedigree to put away the Ayatollah of rock and roll. Well, I guess unfortunately for Seth Rollins, he's still on the list. Is it a bad thing to want to be on the list? I feel like you need to be on the list, but you shouldn't want to be on the. It's a very polarizing and backwards kind of idea. Speaking of backwards and crazy flips and whatnot, the cruiserweights were in action once again. Rich Swann defending the cruiserweight championship in a triple threat against two other former cruiserweight champions in TJ Perkins and the Brian Kendrick. Crazy, amazing cruiserweight action, just like you always see from the cruiserweights over here on Monday Night Raw and, of course, 205 Live. Really cool to hear Austin Aries doing guest commentary for this particular matchup. The three men just absolutely crazy, insane. I honestly thought there were several moments in this matchup that TJ Perkins I thought was going to win. I was like on the edge of my seat, just, no, he was so close, gosh darn it. But one can dream. Rich Swann ultimately picking up the victory over Brian Kendrick, allowing himself to retain the Cruiserweight Championship. But that was not the most exciting part of this matchup. Following the matchup, crazy pyro went off, and an entrance music and entrance video came on the screen that we were all too familiar with. The return of Neville came back, but to even the odds. Neville attacking Rich Swann and TJ Perkins after Brian Kendrick's failed attempt during the distraction, then thus turning heel. Neville's a bad guy now, and I love it. It's very interesting because Neville has been a babyface his entire career. So to have him involved with the Cruiserweight division, number one, awesome, great idea. I don't think Neville has been really utilized well on the main roster. Just to shift him over to the Cruiserweight division, I think is just genius. And on top of that, making him heel just like they did with Brian Kendrick was also a smart move because it again instigates inserts another star from the main roster as a bad guy to once again help elevate the good guys over in the Cruiserweight division. I think it was just a genius move all around. Neville is a great bad guy, but I'm curious to see what they're going to do with his intro. They're still going to do with the cape and the noise and everything like that. I'm very curious if that's going to change at all. But I'm really excited. I can't wait. You guys have no idea how excited I am to see Neville in the Cruiserweight division. Now, we get into the two big matchups. First and foremost, the 30-minute Iron Man match for the Raw Women's Championship, Sasha Banks against Charlotte Flair. This match had you like nail biting at like the edge of your seat. Like, it was just like, I can't really speak too much for this matchup because you need to go see it for yourself. You need to experience this matchup for yourself and understand just how big of a matchup and how important it really was. These two women were scratching, clawing, and fighting. Sasha even getting, I believe, her nose busted open at one point. Just it was two women who were absolutely just going after each other in any way they possibly could to prove the domination over the other. It was great storytelling, great action. Obviously one of the best Iron Man matches, even though they were, very few and far between. But it was just very well done. Great raw emotion. 30 minutes, ultimately going to a tie, 2-on-2, and the finish of the initial matchup was fantastic, as Charlotte had the figure 4 leg lock on Sasha for over 2 minutes, but unfortunately Sasha couldn't make it, tapping at the ultimate 2-second mark to tie things up, going into sudden death. Ultimately, it was unfortunately Sasha's not that great night, if that makes sense. It was not a great night for Sasha ultimately. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. Any case, Charlotte going the distance, locking on another figure 4, converting it into the figure 8 for God knows how long. Ultimately, Sasha had to tap. For the 4th time in her illustrious career, Charlotte is once again your Raw Women's Champion. It was unreal. It was surreal, and you need to check it out. You need to watch the 30-minute Iron Man match between Sasha and Charlotte, end of the line. This is it. This is the end. I'm more curious, and this is just my personal opinion. I'm more curious where things go into the future. I always am curious to see where the next chapter lies, what comes next, what goes next. These two women have done everything. They did a false count anywhere match. They did a Hell in a Cell match, and they've now done an Iron Man match. I think this is the top. This is the peak. This is the pinnacle. I want to know what happens next for these two. Does Charlotte possibly go on to defend her championship, maybe against Bayley, is my understanding? Maybe we might see Sasha Banks challenge another woman in the women's division, maybe even Emelina or a Nia Jax tease that we saw a few weeks ago back on Monday Night Raw. I'm very curious to see where things go and where the women's division for Raw can only go up from here. Now the main event, the Universal Championship. United States Champion Roman Reigns challenges the Universal Champion Kevin Owens. Hard-hitting action to say the least. These two beat the ever-living hell out of each other, and the only way these two could. A lot of tension, a lot of nail-biting once again. It's a lot of outside action, just craziness ensued, but it would ultimately be, in an ironic twist of fate, Chris Jericho coming into the matchup, almost looking to attack Kevin Owens, and he did, hitting a code breaker on Kevin Owens, which inadvertently did something that a lot of other people did not expect, yours truly included, as Chris Jericho thus made, well, he got Kevin Owens disqualified. That's right. He got Kevin Owens disqualified, which means he got Roman Reigns disqualified, which of course means that Kevin Owens wins and thus retains the Universal Championship. As Chris Jericho looks gleefully over to Kevin Owens, he hands the Universal Championship, once again touting that they are indeed the best of friends. But that's not how the things end. As Roman realizes what shenanigans and tomfoolery went afoot, he went to go chase them down as they were stopped at the entrance ramp by none other than Seth Rollins, the man who defeated Chris Jericho earlier in the night. Of course, the two former Shield partners were none too happy, as a spear to Kevin Owens and then ultimately a Shield-like powerbomb to one announcer table to Chris Jericho, and then the main Raw announce table for Kevin Owens helps close out the show. Whew, man, boy, howdy. I feel like, in general, there are some WWE pay-per-views and some matches and some events that are not given a lot of time to be built up. They're not given a lot of, space in between pay-per-views. Now, from Survivor Series to now, I believe there was about 4 or 5 weeks. But it's funny because I always say this, that pay-per-views that are not really, given a lot of time to build tend to being the ones that really surprise you the most. And this one to me was really not that much of an exception. You had, I thought pretty much every match in the card was very, very well done. I thought the Iron Man match was fantastic. I thought the tag team title match was fantastic. Really hard to really pin down one particular matchup that I really enjoyed here, but I probably have to go with the tag team title match and maybe even the Sami Zayn match, just because of the raw emotion, no pun intended, that was in that. Just in it itself, and you don't really see that a whole lot nowadays, as far as just like something that really like you can just like, it was a good like Rocky moment. But overall, 2 championships changed hands, and of course the women's championship, the tag team titles, as Kevin Owens keeps the Universal Championship and Rich Swann keeps the Cruiserweight title. But of course, that's enough me jibber jabbering right here with you guys. Of course, your official 2016 RoadBlock End of the Line pay-per-view review and results for One Wrestling and OneWrestling.com. Time for you guys to chime in. What do you guys think of RoadBlock End of the Line? What do you guys think of the matches? What was your favorite match, least favorite match? I want to hear your guys' thoughts over on Twitter at OKayFabe, of course, down in the comment section below. Let us know what you guys think. Of course, make sure while you're checking out the description box, give all the love to the entire OneWrestling.com family, including myself, Billy Ray Valentine, of course, Big Ray, and of course, the legendary, the iconic Mr. Bill Apter. Make sure you check out every single one of them. The links are all down in the description box below. Thank you guys again for tuning in to another awesome edition. We're going to see you guys for a Raw review and a SmackDown review and so much more content right here on OneWrestling.com. Of course, One Wrestling video as well, too. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Subscribe, like, share. You guys know the whole deal by now. And until next time, guys, to quote the legendary iconic Mr. Bill Apter, we will see you at the matches.